In a few minutes, we're going to watch a demonstration of you working with a young woman. And what were your goals on this interview? What were you thinking about?
Not to do anything that would embarrass me.
For all time.
No, I mean, you are stuck on I mean, part of the challenge, okay, in the goals, because I've done films like this, is to implement as many of those tasks as possible within the 45 minutes. So I needed to, A, hear their story. I needed to develop a therapeutic alliance, and we will see whether I was successful in accomplishing that. I need them to not only tell the story, but I also need them, as Paul Harvey describes, the radio commentator, to tell the rest of the story. Okay? I also wanted to see the connections of this to developmental issues and what lingers from that in terms of the story they tell. I also, in the film, want to convey both to the patient and to the audience how I would proceed from here. Okay? And I also want to demonstrate a technique or two and get their feedback. So you know, that was sort of the intent.
What should our viewers look at? What should they be looking for as they watch you work with Bev? I mean, certainly to see whether or not you accomplish the above.
Yeah, I think that they should see it as a teaching tape. They should play a little bit, stop it, and then say to each other, what would you do next?
That's right.
Okay? I would really like it to be an interactive learning thing, and then have them see that all of therapy are decisional choice points. I am remarkably strategic, not only in what I say, but how I say it. I work very hard during therapy. I come out of sessions tired, because the entire time I talk to myself. Okay?
Should I say this? No, I shouldn't. Should I go here? How do I word this?
Do I pluck that word? Now I got pluck word.
Yeah.
And the other thing to keep in mind is I most likely talk more in this tape than I would in my regular therapy sessions, because I'm pressured for time.
It's condensed.
Yeah, and I think that what happens. Let me finally note, in terms of the origins of cognitive behavior mind.
Back to the beginning. Go ahead.
Well,
He's still talking to himself.
He's still talking.
I grew up in New York City. People in New York City talk to themselves all the time. They get off the train, and they got to get from the train to their house without getting mugged. Okay? So the whole time you're going from the train to thing, you go, I'll walk down here. No, I won't walk. Look, those two guys, I'll stop over here. It's not too bad. Look at the people, I'll walk over there, okay? Now what happens is, when you go to Canada and do that, they call that cognitive behavior modification, and you become very famous and get invited to do these kinds of things.
There you go.
Well, let's watch how it works.
Thank you.
Thank you. Where would you go next with Bev, if Bev was to be your ongoing client?
Well, during the course of the sessions, I commented on a couple of directions I would go. First of all, I would be interested in helping her cope with the ongoing stresses of having to deal with the father.
Okay.
And the stress inoculation, coping skill, problem-solving orientation would be rather effective. And note that she has a lot of resources. She's a bright, articulate lady, so you don't want to make suggestions. If she's already tried it and it hasn't worked, you want to look at the obstacles and barriers that are getting in the way of that. And in fact, I might even go through a specific example of her father calling, and to have her share with me the thoughts and feelings she has as she hears the phone ringing during the course of the conversation, and have her do a chain analysis in order to see how that cycle emerges.
And a chain analysis is?
By chain analysis, I mean, you know, you're in your room, you hear the phone, right? What kinds of thoughts and feelings do you have? Should I answer? Could be him, don't I want to? And what you'll do is you start to get that CD and the accompanying feelings. And then when he is ungrateful or demanding, you know, what's her thoughts and feelings there? So rather than talk about this in the abstract, I think it's real important to get down to a specific example and look at the automatic thoughts, images, accompanying feelings, so that this vicious cycle isn't something general.